Today, we're taking a trip back in time, way back, to the high and far off times of Rudyard Kipling's Just So stories. You know them, you love them, but have you ever wondered what makes them tick? What's the secret sauce that makes these tales so magical? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today. I mean, right from the very first line, Kipling's voice just grabs you, doesn't it? It's so warm, so intimate. He's not some distant narrator reading a book. He's leaning in, sharing a secret just with you, his best beloved. This is the world he's inviting us into. These are the big questions, right? For more than 100 years, kids and grown-ups have been hooked by these mysteries. And Kipling's answers, well, they aren't just simple explanations. They build a whole world with its own logic, its own rules, and its own kind of weird, wonderful magic. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic.
Okay, so first things first, we gotta understand the setting. Kipling isn't writing about the here and now. He's imagined this mythical past, almost like the dawn of time, when the world was still soft around the edges and the animals were still figuring things out.
That's the key right there. Everything is new. It's a time of endless possibilities. The animals haven't really settled into their final forms. Think of them like wet clay, ready to be shaped and molded by whatever they do or don't do. So, here's where it gets really interesting. A lot of these amazing transformations, they aren't random at all. If you look closely, you can see a pattern, a kind of moral formula, where a character's biggest flaw leads directly to a massive, permanent physical change. It's actually a pretty simple three-step process. Step one, an animal has one really strong personality trait, laziness, grumpiness, whatever. Step two, something magical happens, usually because of that trait. And step three, the animal is changed forever, literally wearing the result of its behavior on its body for everyone to see. Let's take the camel. Perfect example. His defining trait is what Kipling calls excruciating idleness. I mean, this is some next-level laziness we're talking about. His entire personality is just one word: hump. The horse asks him to work? Hump. The dog? Hump. He just refuses to be part of this new world. And so the Djinn of all deserts basically says, okay, you want a hump? You got it. And that lazy sound becomes a real physical hump on his back. It's a punishment, for sure, but it's also a tool. Now he can work for 3 days without eating, all thanks to his hump. His laziness is literally made real and then put to work. The rhinoceros story is another great one that follows this formula to a T. He starts with this perfect, tight skin, but he's got terrible manners. He steals a man's cake. So the man gets his revenge by filling the rhino's skin with itchy cake crumbs. The rhino scratches and rubs so much he wrinkles his skin forever. His rudeness is literally etched onto his body. But, it's not all about getting punished for being bad. Some of the most brilliant stories are actually about something else entirely. Adaptation, about using your smarts to survive when the world around you changes. So picture this. Way back when, the leopard and a bunch of other animals were all this samey, sandy, yellowish-brown color. And it worked. It was the perfect camouflage for the wide-open, sunny plains of the high veld. They could blend in, no problem. But of course, things don't stay the same. Suddenly, their prey moves into this dense forest, a place full of what Kipling calls stripy, speckly, patchy-blatchy shadows. And now the leopard sticks out like a sore thumb. His old camo is useless. So to survive, he's got to change. The Ethiopian helps him out, painting spots all over him, the perfect adaptation for a new, shadowy world. And then, of course, there's the most famous adaptation story of them all, The Elephant's Child. His big trait isn't a flaw. It's his endless, bottomless curiosity, his insatiable curiosity. It gets him into trouble, leading him right into the jaws of a crocodile, who grabs his little nose and pulls and pulls. It's got to be a painful, awful experience, but the result is incredible: the world's very first elephant trunk. So what starts out as this horrible, traumatic event actually becomes this amazing advantage. The new trunk is like the ultimate multi-tool. He can swat flies, eat without bending down, give himself a cool mud hat, and, my personal favorite, he can finally get some payback on all the relatives who were spanking him for being curious. His curiosity literally reshaped him into a better, stronger creature. This whole idea of ingenuity gets taken to another level with the armadillo. This time, you have two totally different animals, a hedgehog and a tortoise, who team up. They actually teach each other their best tricks to confuse a predator. They work together, they practice, and they basically invent a whole new animal to make sure they survive. And Kipling doesn't just stop with animals. He uses the same how it came to be logic for one of the biggest human inventions ever, writing. I mean, it didn't just pop into existence, right? It had to be invented, step by step, mostly out of necessity, and a whole lot of hilarious confusion. It all kicks off with this little cave girl named Taffy. Her dad breaks his fishing spear, so she draws a picture to send for a new one. To her, it's crystal clear what it means. But to the guy who delivers it, and especially to her mom and the whole tribe, the drawing looks like her dad is being attacked by a gang of bad guys. It leads to this huge, funny misunderstanding. So, that epic failure of a picture letter gets Taffy and her dad thinking they need a better way. So they start inventing sound pictures. The sound ah, for example, looks like a carp's mouth when it's open. The S sound looks just like a snake. And bit by bit, they create a symbol for every single sound, turning those confusing pictures into the world's very first alphabet. So, okay, we've got these cool formulas: punishment, adaptation, invention. But the thing that really holds it all together, the thing that makes these stories last forever, is Kipling's voice. The magic isn't just in what he says, but how he says it. You see that again and again. Oh, my best beloved. He's always talking directly to you, the reader. It creates this amazing sense of intimacy. It doesn't feel like you're just reading a book. It feels like your favorite uncle is telling you a secret story just for you, right before bed. Now, we can't really talk about Kipling without acknowledging the more difficult parts of his work. This quote right here, with its use of a racial slur, is a pretty jarring reminder of the time and the colonial mindset these stories came from. And while that language is, deeply offensive to us today, it is part of the original text. We're looking at it here not to endorse it, but because it's a necessary part of understanding the work as a whole, including its uncomfortable history. When you put it out together, Kipling's style is just unforgettable. The rhythm of the words feels almost like music, like a story that's been told out loud for generations. He makes up these amazing words like satiable curiosity and patchy blotchy, and every single story wraps up with that perfect, satisfying line, and that is the reason why. It all just creates this voice that is totally one of a kind. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Kipling created these incredible myths to explain why the world is the way it is. He gave us a reason for the camel's hump and the leopard's spots. So, what about us? What are the modern-day just-so stories we tell ourselves to make sense of all the complicated things in our own world? Something to think about.